Hey everybody, this is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. Today I wanted to talk to you about step 3 of filing a VA disability claim. So in previous videos, we talked about step 1, an in-service event. That is to say, something happened to you while you were in the service that caused your disability. Step 2 is to have a current diagnosis. So if you claim you had migraines that started in the service, then you're going to want to get that in your record books or a personal statement from someone or something along those lines to show that that indeed happened while you were in the service. Then you're going to need a current diagnosis, a doctor, a neurologist, somebody who's a specialist in the field who can say, I diagnose you with migraines, for example. You're going to need to explain how they affect you in your daily life. Remember, we talked about this. The VA does not give disabilities based on what happened to you while you were in the service. They base it on what you currently have and how it affects your life today. Specifically, your social life, your family life, and your ability to earn an income. Those are the things that the VA will pay a disability for. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, that brings us to step number 3. 1, the original condition. 2, current diagnosis. 3, the connection between 1 and 2. Now, this can get a little complex and it can be kind of difficult to understand. So we're going to break it down. You're going to hear the word nexus quite a bit. Nexus can be in the form of a letter, or it can be in the form of an examination, like from a C&P examiner. And what it means is the connection between your current diagnosis and your in-service event is at least as likely as not to be connected. For example, you were diagnosed with migraines while you were in the service. As an example, you have a current diagnosis for migraines. Let's say you went to see a neurologist and the neurologist said, yes, you have migraines. You meet the classic definition of migraines. Here's some medication for you. Here's some therapy for you. Here's, I don't know, shock treatment. I don't know. In any case, you've been diagnosed with migraines. Now we have to build the connection between the original service event and the current diagnosis. That connection is called a nexus. So what we need to do is convince the VA that it is as I cannot talk today. It is at least as likely as not that your current condition was caused by the original event in service. So this is the work of your personal statement, medical records, for example, if you've been treated all the way along since you got out of the service, buddy letters, statements from people who have said, yes, I've known this person since they got out of the service and they have a migraine headache twice a week. I've seen them get laid out flat because of it. So that's the continuity between the in-service event and the current diagnosis. It can be done with what's called a nexus letter. A nexus letter is an actual letter from a qualified medical professional, somebody who's skilled in that particular field, who can say, yes, A is connected to B on an at least as likely as not basis. And that person would normally give some examples of why they believe that. And that would be submitted as part of your claim as well. If you can get your doctor, your physician, say your neurologist in the example of migraines, if you can get that person to write that statement, that's terrific. Submit that along with your claim. It's known that VA doctors don't like to write nexus letters, and private physicians don't like to write nexus letters. Many of them don't really know what they are, what they're supposed to contain, It's really outside of their normal field of experience as medical care professionals to write something that seems so legalistic. So sometimes that can be really tough. However, there are professionals whose job it is to make those connections and write those letters. They will do that for you for a fee. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world. That fee can be fairly significant. It can be anything from, I think, a low of like $600 to thousands of dollars. A lot of it depends on the complexity of the case and how much information is necessary to make that connection between your current diagnosis and your original in-service event. So with that in mind, not everybody will submit a Nexus letter. They're not going to go through that expense of paying for that, or if their doctor won't provide that for them, or what have you. However, don't let that stop you from filing your claim. The Nexus still has to be proven. However, it is possible that your C&P examiner, who will be a medical professional in that particular arena, will provide that Nexus for you. A lot of it, again, depends on the complexity of the case. Your statements, your buddy letters, may also prove that Nexus without the need for a Nexus letter. So don't let it stop you if you don't want to buy a Nexus letter. I would say probably not worth it if you're filing for a claim where you're only going to get 10% perhaps, something like that, or a 0% disability rating. But you'll have to be the judge of that. Some veterans wait to see what happens with their claim. If your claim gets denied because of lack of Nexus, then you have to decide, okay, do I want to appeal that claim? And if so, do I want to go ahead and pay for a Nexus letter to, to medically prove that these two, A and B, are connected? That will be your call at that time. I would say that in the case of what they call a high value claim, 30%, 50%, 70% or higher, might be worth it. Might be worth engaging a professional to write that letter for you so that your claim will be successful. But it's always a risk. You might spend that money, get a Nexus letter, and still be denied. Although I have noticed that a lot of professionals who provide Nexus letters will evaluate your situation before they write the letter, and they'll tell you, I can't make this connection. I'm not going to be able to write you this Nexus letter. If that's the case, then okay, save your money. This claim's not going to go anywhere. It might be time to lick your wounds and choose a different disability to file a claim for. All right, so in the last 3 videos, we've talked about the in-service condition, the event that caused your disability, the current diagnosis, and now in this 3rd video, we've talked about the nexus between the two, which is often in the form of a Nexus letter, but it can be many other forms. So I hope this is useful to you. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Please leave a comment. It's really going to help the YouTube algorithm to push these videos out there so that other veterans can see them, and hopefully this will be useful to them as well as to you. And this is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. As always, have a great day.